Hey everybody, welcome back to another cool coding event put on by Cool Coder myself. Today we're looking at this problem, valid palindrome. So in this problem, we are given a string and we want to see if it is a valid palindrome. So as you can see in our input string, this is it. Basically, a palindrome is when you can reverse a string and it is spelled the same way, right? So a man, a plan, a canal, Panama is spelled the same way frontwards and backwards, right? So that is a palindrome. So in order to solve this, we're going to use 2 pointers, and it's not too difficult. So basically what we're going to do is have one pointer start at the left, have another pointer start at the right. Let me move these up here so that doesn't keep blocking. Right, so what we're going to do is check and see if the character at the left and the character at the right is a alphanumeric value. Alphanumeric meaning lowercase a through lowercase z, and uppercase a through uppercase z, and 0 through 9, right? So we need to, these are all valid alphanumeric characters. So basically we're going to check if the character at the pointers is a alphanumeric. If it is, then we're going to compare it to each other. And also we're going to compare the lowercase version of each other, right? So capital A is different than lowercase a, so we're going to first we're going to check the lowercase value. So we have our 2 pointers, our left pointer and our right pointer. We're going to see if the left pointer and the right pointer are alphanumeric. They are alphanumeric, and then we're going to compare them. So we're going to compare the lowercase values, right? So lowercase a equals lowercase a. So it's the same. Now we're going, if it's the same, then we're going to increment both pointers, right? So R will go down one, left will go over to the right one. So you'll notice this is a space. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a space. So we have to check to see if it is a alphanumeric number. A space is not an alphanumeric number. So, sorry, a space is not an alphanumeric character. So we need to increment left again and before we compare, right? So if they're not both alphanumerics, we need to figure out which one is not the alphanumeric and increment it. So left is not alphanumeric, so we need to increment that again, right? So, okay, so now we're both on alphanumeric numbers. These alphanumeric characters, M and M, they're both lowercase, but we're going to convert it to lowercase anyways. Compare them, they're the same, so we move on. Okay, so we're here. We are at 2 alphanumeric characters. They are the same, so we move on. N and N, same thing. They are both alphanumeric characters. We compare, they're the same, so we move on. So again, we're into another issue where we're at a comma. So a comma is not a alphanumeric character, so we need to increment this left pointer. Left pointer is still not an alphanumeric character, it's a space, so we keep going, and we're at A, okay? So we've got left is at A and right is at A, and we see that they are the same, so we increment again, right? So both of them will be incremented. So left is at a non-alphanumeric number, so we're going to increment left. Left is now at left and right are at alphanumeric characters. We compare the lowercase value, it's the same, so we move on. So basically, you get the idea. We're going to have 2 pointers, one starting at the beginning and one starting at the end. And every time we are not at a alphanumeric character, we're going to increment that pointer. If both pointers are alphanumeric, then we're going to compare. If they're different, let's just say this was an S. If they're different, then we're going to return false. And that's it. If they're the same, then we just increment both pointers, right? So that's the idea. this will be a time complexity of O of n, because we are just looping through the length of the input string and we have no extra memory. So let's code it up. Okay, again, we're going to have two pointers, left and right. Left is going to equal 0, right is going to be at the end of the string, so length of s minus 1. We're going to loop until they meet, so while left is less than right. So this will be our loop. So now we are going to check if the two characters are alphanumeric, and we're going to create a helper function. But I'll just go ahead and type this out. Okay, so now we know that both the left and the right characters are alphanumeric, so we're going to compare them. If s of left dot, and we have to compare the lowercase, does not equal s of right dot lower, then we're going to return false. Otherwise, they're both alphanumeric and they do equal each other, so we're going to increment left by 1 and decrement right by 1 here. Okay, so then we also have to, if we don't get into this if statement, then one of them is not an alphanumeric. So we need to check which one it is. So this will mean that the left is not alphanumeric, so we want to increment the left pointer. Otherwise, if we get here, that means that they're both not alphanumeric, or at least one of them is not alphanumeric. This means the left is not alphanumeric, so if we get here, then that means the right is the one that is not alphanumeric. So we'll say right minus equals 1. And then, so this is our loop. And then once left is less than or is equal to or greater than right, we will break out of our loop and we will return true. So now we need to create our helper function. So we just need to do define is alphanumeric, self, and character. And so basically what we're going to do here is say, so we're going to get the ASCII value of lowercase a, and we want to make sure that the ASCII value of our character is between the ASCII value of lowercase a and lowercase z. And then we also need to do the same thing for uppercase letters and 0 through 9 because alphanumeric. So capital A through capital Z, and then 0 through 9. And this will return whether it is an alphanumeric character or not. So that should be it. Let's run it and just make sure I didn't forget anything. What is going on here? So basically I just forgot to add the keyword ordinance to get the ASCII value. No big deal. Let's run it again. And there we go. It works. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.